Hello students, in the previous lesson you have already learned about the different phases of reproduction. Now, before we start with the gametogenesis, we need to know about the two systems of human reproduction, that is the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. In today's lesson, we are going to learn about the male reproductive system. Now, coming to the male reproductive system, the primary sex organ is the testis, this one. This plays an important role in the process of reproduction. Apart from that, there are also some secondary sex organs which help in the reproduction process, and this includes the accessory ducts and the accessory glands. Accessory ducts include retitestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, urethra. And the accessory glands include a pair of seminal vesicles, prostate gland, bulbourethral or the Cowper's gland, and also the external genitalia which play an important role in reproduction process, which is the penis. Now we are going to learn about this in detail. The first one that we are going to learn is the testis. This is the transverse section of the testis here. Now the main function of this testis is to produce the sperms. Now you need to know where is the testis located. Now this testis is small oval in structure, and this is approximately 4 to 5 centimeter long, and this is located outside the abdominal cavity, where in a thin walled skin pouches called the scrotum. This one. This is the anatomy of the scrotum, and you will find that this scrotum has got two chambers, this one and this one. These are the scrotal chambers, and these are separated by a septum which is known as the scrotal septum. Now in this scrotal chambers, testes are located, and if you see carefully, you will find that one of the scrotal chambers is slightly lower than the other, so that it will prevent squeezing of the testes. Now, during the embryonic conditions only this testis develop, and they descend at the time of embryonic development only. Before that, the scrotum remains empty. Now, as the testis descend, there is a small white fibrous structure which is known as gubernaculum, and this gubernaculum fixes the testis to the scrotum, as you can see here. Now, there is a cavity present here in the scrotal sac. It is known as the vaginal coelom, and this is connected to the abdominal cavity through the inguinal canal. This testis, as I have already said, it produces sperms. So, it undergoes spermatogenesis. And now, for spermatogenesis, testes require 2-degree lower temperature than the body temperature. So, this has to be maintained, and this temperature is maintained by the Destos muscles. So, that is why the scrotal sac acts as a thermoregulator, keeps the temperature 2-degree lower than the body temperature, and that is why this testis is located outside the body. Now coming back to the TS section of the testis once again. Here you will see that each testis is covered by a protective layer which is known as the tunica albuginea. And this tunica albuginea is further covered externally by the tunica vaginalis, this one. Now the tunica albuginea, as I have said here, this opens inside the testis. It opens inwards in the form of septa, like this. These are the septa. This septa results in the formation of chambers like this, and these chambers are known as testicular lobules. There are about 200 to 300 testicular lobules like this, and each of these lobules consist of some convoluted structure like the ones you are seeing here. These convoluted structures are known as the seminiferous tubules. These seminiferous tubules extend inside and form straight like structure here, and these straight like structures, these join and form a network, and it is known as the vasa recta. Now this vasa recta carries the sperms from the seminiferous tubules and transport it to the epididymis through some duct like this. These ducts are known as vasa efferentia. Now, if we study the TS section or the transverse section of the seminiferous tubules right now, you will find these seminiferous tubules are lined by germinal epithelium, this one. And this consists of two types of cells, the spermatogenic cells and the Sertoli cells. Spermatogenic cells undergo spermatogonia and forms haploid motile male gametes, which is known as spermatozoa. Whereas the Sertoli cells, they provide nourishment to the sperm cells, thus helping in the process of reproduction. Now, here you will find there are connective tissues, and inside this connective tissue you will find some cluster of cells like this. These cells are known as the Leydig cells or the interstitial cells, and these cells play a very important role in the process of reproduction because it produces the male sex hormone, that is the testosterone. Now, coming to the secondary or the accessory structures of the male reproductive system. Now, as I have already said previously, that the retitestis that is formed collects the sperms through vasa efferentia into the epididymis. This is the epididymis. These epididymis are highly coiled structure. It has got three parts. The head part, which is known as the caput or the head, the body part in the middle, and the tail part, which is known as cauda epidermis, which is the narrow part. Here at this point here in the cauda epididymis or the tail part of the epididymis, the sperms are stored for at least 18 to 20 hours, and it attains the physiological maturity here only. So by now you have learned that how the sperm is being transported from the testis to the next part. Now from this tail part arises a duct, this one. This duct goes up to the abdominal cavity, and this is called vas deferens. Now, in the pelvic region, if you see, you will find that there is a sac-like structure here, which is known as the urinary bladder. Now, this vas deferens, it takes a loop like this and comes closer to the lower part of the bladder. This vas deferens will open into the urethra, this part. And the next part of the duct will carry two things. That is the urethra and the sperm. The urethra that is bringing the urine from the bladder and the sperm from the vas deferens, because the passage is common here, this part. And this part which is carrying both the urine and the sperm through the same passage, this part is known as urinogenital duct. Before the vas deferens opens into the urethra here, what happens? There is a slight swelling called ampulla. And this ampulla opens into a tubular structure which is known as the seminal vesicles, this part. At this point, this part will be known as the ejaculatory duct. Now, this whole part which I have discussed here, this is actually not visible in reality because this is covered by a donut-shaped gland which is known as the prostate gland. Here, this part. If the prostate gland is removed, then only you will get to see this kind of structures like the seminal vesicles. These are all covered by the prostate gland. Now, the urinogenital duct, this part, this passes into a structure which is a muscular, highly vascular structure, and towards the tip here, there is a slight bulge and swelling, this part, and then it opens. This is the copulatory organ, this part I'm talking about is the copulatory organ, also known as the external genitalia called penis. Now here at the tip there is somewhat swollen, this part, the swollen tip called the glans penis. And here there is a loose skin fold called foreskin or the prepuce. This part of the penis is highly sensitive. Now the opening of the copulatory organ is the urinogenital aperture. So by now you have understood all the structures of both the primary sex organ of the males as well as the accessory sex organ of the males. Now coming to the functions of the structures I have described right now. The first function of the seminiferous vesicles, this one, basically these seminal vesicles are small and they are about 5 centimeter long. They are saccular, muscular, and they pour their secretion in the vas deferens. They open in the vas deferens and their secretion mainly consists of prostaglandins. That means it helps in activating the sperms. Not only that, it also causes contraction in the uterine wall. Now, when the sperm gets deposited in the vagina, it has to reach up to the fallopian tube, isn't it? So, because fallopian tube is the fertilization site, so the transportation from the vagina to the fallopian tube, this is facilitated by the seminal vesicles. Now, the next gland which we are going to talk about is the prostate gland, and I have already said that prostate gland is somewhat present here in this part. It is a donut shaped and this gland pours its secretion into the urethra, and the secretion mainly consists of bicarbonate ions, which is actually for the survival of sperms, lipids for the nourishment, and the citric acid. It protects the sperms from the acidic medium of the vagina. There is another gland which is present at the base of the penis, somewhat here, is the Cowper's gland or the bulbourethral gland, and its secretion mainly consists of mucus, and this is required for the lubrication of copulation. Now, the semen that is being secreted, it basically consists of the secretion of gland, that is from the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland, and the sperms. Now, there is only 10% of sperms present in the semen. The rest of the secretion is secreted by the glands, that is the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland. Now, the release of this semen into the vagina, this is known as ejaculation. So this was all about the male reproductive system, their structure of the male reproductive organs, and the important functions they play in the process of reproduction. In the next lesson, you are going to learn about the female reproductive system, structure, and the functions, how they play an important role in the process of reproduction. Thank you.